Whata?
And g'day viewers, I'm Michael.
And I'm Janet. In this week's podcast episode, we talk about being not okay.
As we were recently reminded this week in Australia's RUOK Day, we thought it was a timely reminder to talk about being not okay and that it's actually okay to be not okay. In fact, it's absolutely normal.
Regardless of your reason for being not okay, we discuss the importance of unburdening yourself of whatever it is that's making you feel not okay.
And we're also going to gift you a powerful EFT session that Janet has created for you for those times when you're not feeling okay to help you feel better.
Whata?
And g'day and welcome to this week's episode about being not okay.
We visited my brother David last Sunday as he and his wife are heading overseas, and we wanted to check in and wish them happy trails. We had a cuppa around the table and caught up on all the family and work news. We're part of a huge family, and big things are happening in that circle, with my eldest brother Stephen struggling through young onset dementia and the incredible grief, pain and stress of that on him and his daughter and her husband and family.
And all of us, yeah.
Yeah.
And to coincide in a week where we also saw one of Janet's besties from school dying after a severe and intense battle with cancer. And Janet had known her since she was 12 years old, and they had been witness to each other's lives for over 4 decades, and it's been really sad. And she was a force to be reckoned with, a brave, intensely beautiful and vibrant woman indeed, and she lived a legacy of greatness. And she had a great love of life, learning and being well read, and was someone with very strong principles and opinions on things, but would never, ever force them on anyone else. They were just hers, and she never judged others. She was an amazing person and someone that we were both privileged to have shared our life journey with. So it's been a tough week, and we're not only dealing with our own grief, but we're also with the grief of her wonderful husband and their kids.
Back to Sunday, as we were packing up to leave my brother David's place, he took my hand and he said, "Are you okay?" I answered, "I'm okay. Thanks for asking." However, as soon as he asked me that question, tears sprang into my eyes. And guess what? I'm not okay.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty obvious, isn't it? If someone asks you a question, are you okay, and tears appear, you're pretty much sure not to be okay. Yeah.
Lucky for me, I was able to book in and have a session with my trusted therapist Monday straight after work, and I felt so much better. Are You OK Day was on Thursday, September 8th this year. The Are You OK team do a fantastic job, and all socials and news feeds were alight with people checking in on each other.
It was awesome.
Yep. One of my favourite posts shared by the organisation was, "Ask, are you okay? No qualifications needed." It took me back to 2 things. Sunday afternoon when my beautiful brother asked, "Are you okay?" And the second place it took me was to a great scene in the movie Crocodile Dundee, where people are talking at a party about how New Yorkers all rely on their respective qualified therapists, and Mick Dundee asks, "What's the matter? Don't you have any mates?"
I love that.
Now, don't get me wrong. We do all benefit from and require professional therapy as needed, but sometimes by having your mates or your family asking, "Are you okay?" it can help you identify that you do need help and that you're not okay.
Absolutely.
Like me on Sunday, when David obviously sensed that behind my game face was a deep sadness. I was not okay, and I'm so glad he asked.
Game facing is a sport that we all tend to play, you know. And you know the deal, when you're feeling like crap, but you have to put a mask on of "I've got this," when inside you are feeling like curling up into a ball and no, you absolutely haven't got this. And we tend to train our game face muscles from an early age, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Yep.
And when we're pushed onwards and forwards into situations that our gut instincts are screaming, "No!"
You're right, Mitch. I found a photo recently of me at the age of about 4, so it was not long after my mum had died, and I'd been sent to stay with some family friends while Dad worked through the grief process, mate, and came to terms with the fact that he now had 9 kids to raise alone.
Yeah, another photo.
The picture was taken by a pro photographer, as that was a thing back then when families organised pro portraiture. And the people I was staying with had obviously organised this to happen prior to me landing there. And the photo shows me standing between two of their kids. Both their kids are dressed in their Sunday best and their matching best smiles. And I'm in the middle with the biggest, saddest eyes and, of course, no smile. I was so not okay. I have some memories of this time, being asked to smile and to be brave, etc. You know, the kind folk were well-meaning. They were trying to involve me, most likely trying to distract me.
Yeah.
And it's this memory that evokes my game face muscle. That's when it began to develop.
Yeah, of course. And of course you need to draw on your game face at times in life, you know, to be brave and courageous and strong, and sometimes we don't. Sometimes it's about not being okay, and that's an important thing to honour.
Oh, amen to that. It's absolutely so important to own I don't feel okay. It can be tough, but like when David asked me and my initial reaction was, oh yeah, I'm fine. Thanks for asking, but jeepers, I so wasn't.
No, of course not.
Mitch, what are your thoughts from a bloke's perspective around this?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because as men, we often cover our feelings and we put on what we think is a strong facade, and the facade masking the pain or anxiety that we're holding down deep inside. I think we're actually improving as I'm going to say as a species, but as men. You're
kind of like another species, but we love you.
But I think we are improving, but we've still got a long way to go. And despite, for myself too, despite being someone who is really open and with my feelings and tuned into my emotions, I'm guilty of doing this at times. And we tend to do this because of the fear of appearing weak. And we have this misconception that as men, we must be brave and strong and not show our feelings. And, that's born out of so many generations of just life. So even worse, we're just trying to avoid the issue of even acknowledging the problem ourselves, And when we're asked if we're okay, we generally just jump straight to the answer, I'm fine. And we all know too well that it's far from the case. So men, listen up. It's actually okay to not be okay. It's not a weakness. It's part of being human.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we all go through things in our lives that make us not okay. And it's an important part of the healing process to share how you're feeling. Let it out. Talk to your friends and family about it. And as Janet said before when she quoted Mick Dundee, or if you need, go and get professional help. Bottling up and glossing over is what's going on really only makes it worse. It's like a tightly coiled spring of tension inside. And when you share how you're feeling or take action at a professional level, it slowly loosens the tension in that spring. But holding on to it, inevitably one day, that spring will recoil sharply and sometimes with dire consequences. So if you're not okay and someone asks you how you are or are you okay, be honest, boys. Be really honest.
And girls.
So it's
all of us.
Absolutely.
Whoever you identify as, if someone's asking you, are you okay, really think about it. And if you have that kind of reaction like I did with David and you aren't honest at the time, reach out to someone else. It's your body will show you, your emotions, you'll feel it. It's a gut feeling, you know it.
Oh, it is, absolutely. And going back to what we've recently been going through with the passing of one of our dearest friends, a good mate of mine rang in to check with me to see how I was going. And I'm so glad he did, because I was able to let him know how fragile I was and how fragile Janet was. And we spoke for ages and then started to laugh about things. It was great. So I was still fragile, but I felt better and I knew that I had the support from so many areas in my life.
Yeah.
And I also remember my beautiful uncle, going back when you were talking to Jenny about, how men do things. Well, my beautiful uncle is someone who I love dearly. And he was someone who always held things in. So he came from growing up in the Second World War era in London with that British stiff upper lip and never showed emotion. But I know deep down that he was a deeply caring and loving marshmallow. He was as soft as butter inside.
Yeah,
but
he didn't. Yeah, he kept that quite covered, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah, closed book.
He never let people see that side. And he went through so many challenges in his life, particularly physically, from getting diabetes in his early 20s to chronic arthritis and then ending up being a W amputee, so losing both his legs and being unable to walk. But he would never talk about how he was feeling about anything. He kept all his feelings bottled in. And this finally manifested in him being just a grumpy and judgmental person. So he never let that spring that I was talking about before slowly uncoil. It just bent pow, out, and it just in so many different ways. So, Jenny, I'd really love you to share your story about the time when your dad and your stepmum died in really close proximity.
They did. It was within 6 weeks of each other. So I'm a triple orphan. I lost mum, and then I lost dad, and then a stepmum as well. It was a really challenging time. And thank goodness you were here. And the kids were quite young. I think our youngest was, maybe 5 or 6. And I really had to, at that time, reach out and get some help. I talk about this in Open Your Mind in my book. To help others, you have to put your own mask on first. And when you're faced with those sort of circumstances, like, a double death so quickly, or mate, everyone's going through, serious crisis. You look around, there's people going through stuff anywhere. Just a reminder for you all that you have to put your own mask on first. It's like they say on the plane, before you reach out and help anyone else, fit your own mask and breathe. Really important, really so important at this time.
Yeah. It absolutely is. And thank you. That's a really important message, to look after yourself and really acknowledge that you're not okay. And I also, going back to the day that I found out that my beautiful and wonderful mum had bowel cancer, and the prognosis wasn't good. And being an only child, I didn't have any siblings to share the emotional load, but I was fortunate enough to have you, mate, to shoulder the load and the burden with me, as well as all my close mates. So no, I wasn't okay. How could I not feel despair? How could I not be sad about it? But I had a great support network around me. And being the positive person that I am, I tried to convince myself to do things, to put positive energy into the world and focus on all the wonderful things in my life and be grateful for everything and look on the bright side. And I did all those things, right? And they're all well and good. But I remember you saying to me that it's okay to feel this way right now. She's your mum.
Absolutely. I mean, that's massive. It's massive. And you need to honour the negs when they come through.
And that was just such great advice to me at that stage, because that allowed me to stop, reset, and finally take a breath.
Because have a good cry.
You know me.
Well,
I'm a good crier. I cry at snails.
Yeah, but it's so
going
important to let the emotion express itself. So many people are trained from youth, not to cry. It's a sign of weakness. It's not. It's a sign of power.
Yeah.
It's your body's power, and just find somewhere safe to have your meltdowns. You need to let it out.
No, and it was great, because I really needed to know at that time that it was okay to feel how I was feeling in that moment. So rather than bury my emotions and pretend that they didn't exist, which I can do, and you know that for the time we've been married, it's okay to be not okay. In fact, it's normal. We all go through it. Jenna, what about the time when we had your lovely sister Maddie, who was going through some really serious emotional challenges at the time? She was living with us. And also at the same time, we had a house full of all our adult kids living with us. And we were going through some pretty big things in our lives at that time as well. So while we were a rock and support, and we really helped Maddie, and we really did. We're a great reason why she's in the place she is today.
We're so grateful.
We weren't okay, were we?
No, that was a really tough time. It was a tough time, but thank God we've got the mates we have, and we've got each other, and a loving, big, huge, extended family that were there just to help and help each other through that. So yes, your support networks are key. They really are.
Yeah, they are.
So if you are listening to this and you're starting to think, well, actually, I don't really feel okay today, don't hold it in. Please get help. Reach out to your friends and your family. They're always there for you. And if for some reason they're not, you really need to get some professional help. You need to go to your health practitioner to discuss your issues and get a referral to someone qualified. There are the powerful organisations, particularly in Australia. I can recommend the Lifeline, Beyond Blue and Grief Line, just to name a few. Wherever you are listening in the world, there'll be similar organisations to help you. With the workplace, many companies provide their employees with an employee assistance program for free. So please, if you're investigate that in your workplace, if it's available, please tap into it. However you do it, reach out and get your help. Well, I've created as we mentioned earlier, I've created a little gift for you. So you'll find a video link for that. It's a really powerful healing session based on emotional freedom technique. So it's simple to do. I want you to put that nagging, fragile ego saying, I don't understand this or how's it going to work behind you. And please just give it a try. It'll make you feel better. It'll help you feel more calm and have some clarity. And I've put this together. I've put the script together and I've filmed it for you guys. So please feel free to use that at any time when you're not feeling okay, just to help you get in touch with what's happening in your body, in your mind, and, and find some healing through that. Anyway, until next time.
Yeah. I just want to say to the guys too, so that if you're feeling a little, what is this all about? I use the EFT sessions that Jenny does all the time, and they're amazing, and they make me feel so much better. So they really do work, and they're great for you. So just put aside any misconceptions that you have about it or any concerns that you have. Is it a bit woo-woo? It's not at all.
It was developed by a sports psychologist originally, and the clients we've worked with, the serious sort of situations and emotional problems that it's helped with people is just phenomenal. So please trust the process and give it a go. It's not painful. It's very, very calming. So,
and you feel so much better afterwards. And it's our gift to you.
Yeah. So listen, guys, have a great week and love and blessings.
See ya. Thanks for watching this video. And we hope that you got a lot out of it. We would love it, be grateful and appreciative if you would take the time to like this video, comment if you feel inclined, and share with any friends that you think would benefit from this. We are constantly creating new great content, so also remember to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the awesome material that we have coming up. See you soon.